elsewhere. And she moved up, and she became a Supreme Court justice. That woman's name is Sandra Day O'Connor. In Psalms 91:7, it says, 1,000 shall fall by thy side, 10,000 shall fall at thy right hand, but all of this will not come nigh your dwelling place. When we truly understand and embrace that, then we can watch to what degree the ordinary mishaps stay outside our experience. The obvious question to me, what is your dwelling place? Where is it? It applies to the individual who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. It's not talking about dwelling in a home or a house or a condo. It's not talking about dwelling in an airplane or a car. It is talking about dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. Because those that dwell in that secret place, well, the question becomes, how do we do that before we get to the value or the benefits? It is something that is done consciously. When we stop and think about it, everything in our life, everything that happens to us in our life, it is either an activity of our consciousness expressing itself, or it is the result of our unwillingness to allow our consciousness to express itself. And when we do that, and do not allow this consciousness to express, we become a blotting paper, like an ink blotter. But we become a blotting paper for the beliefs of good and evil that permeate the world. And then we either birth forth the evil that we'd like to avoid. We begin to take them on in, and then we wind up damaging our soul with the illnesses, the stress, the pressure. We have the opportunity to become a master of our faith and captain of our soul. But it is only done through an act of consciousness. It is not by saying God will take. If we stop and think about it, people have been praying for thousands of years. They've been praying for health. They've been praying for prosperity. They've been praying that there won't be any wars. And when we look around this planet of 6+ billion people, we begin to realize that has not worked. It is done by an act of consciousness. And I don't mean we hear some of these truth statements and we walk out and say, hey, I understand, I've got it. And then we continue walking into our life and we begin to experience the same kind of stuff, and we wonder, well, does this stuff really work? Yes, it does, but truth, it's not an intellectual exercise. It's not like learning math where 12 is 144 and we can go out and work it. No. Truth is a spiritual exercise. And we only have it when we apply it to our lives. When we apply that truth to the trials and tribulations, then we're casting the light. Then we're allowing an activity of truth in our consciousness. And that activity of truth, it must be built around the one principle, the one statement, that there is only one power. And that is the power of God. And there is no power against it, no power that this presence has to overcome. That is the principle that we must embody. Because when we do that, then we begin to see and understand that any sense of evil is impersonal. It is nothing but the activity of the human mind. It is the activity of the race belief. It is the activity of race consciousness. But it is absolutely nothingness. It has no power outside of the power that we give it. AHIAH Celebration. And this is from the book Be an Island, out of Buddhism. Unless we have, he says, the determination to increase our mindfulness from moment to moment, we will easily forget to practice. Reminds me of that story of this woman young woman had just come home from a date. And she was looking very sad, and the mother said, "Sweetheart, what's wrong?" And she says, "Oh, Mom, Bob just asked me to marry him." The woman said, "Well, why are you looking so sad?" She said, "Oh, Mom, during the course of the conversation, I found out that he's an atheist. Why, he doesn't even believe there's a hell." The mother said, "No, marry him anyway. Between the two of us, we'll show him how wrong he is." Yes, we create our own hell right here. And generally it's out of ignorance. One of the things I feel that we need to do, we need to develop our own vision. We need to develop confidence in ourselves and our ability to listen to that inner voice and know that it is the voice of wisdom. Emerson said, "There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide, that he must take himself for better or worse as his portion, that though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him, but through his toil bestowed on that plot of ground which is given to him to till." Do we know what that plot of ground is? It is the field of our awareness. It is the field of our thoughts, the field of our feelings and belief. And we're cultivating that each and every day, which is why the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, said, "Whatsoever you would have, believe that you have it, and it is yours." It begins in thought. It begins in awareness. The wise rabbi went on to say, "The kingdom of heaven is neither low here or low there. The kingdom of heaven is within. It is a kingdom because you and I are sovereign in the land of our own believing. The kingdom of our good, whatever that good may be, it is just a thought away." Ramakrishna, this is from the bounty of Allah. He said, "As long as you pursue the world, it will pursue you. But when you turn away from it and seek God, it will leave you alone, and its glamour shall no longer fascinate you." Your gift is needed to make your gift right. The world is not going to be right until you find a way to discover and share your gift. In Matthew 5:14, clearly says, "You are the light of the world. A city built atop a hill cannot be hid." That if you light a lamp, you do not push it under a bushel or put it under a bushel. You put it on a lamp table so that it will cast the light for everyone in the household to benefit from. It goes on to say that you are the light of the world. To go forth and show that light so that you can glorify your Father in heaven. Now, I know it's easy to become discouraged at times. It's easy to feel life is unfair because we can always look at others and say, "Wow, look at the advantages they have. They've got all the advantages." But on the flip side of the coin, there are people looking at us and they're saying, "Look at the advantages that we have." Perseverance. A fellow by the name of Wayne Mitchell, a 46-year-old former Marine. Loved riding motorcycles, had an accident, burnt over 60% of his body. Went into rehabilitation, undaunted. He went on and became a successful entrepreneur and a pilot of small planes. 4 years after that motorcycle accident, he was taken off. It was a malfunction with the engine, and that plane crashed on the runway he had taken off from. That crash crushed 12 of his thoracic vertebrae. He was paralyzed.